welcome back to Lindemann Outdoors. Just want to see if that would work, and it does. So, well, how's it going for you, big man?
It's going. It's going. Been a busy weekend, so I'm trying to recover.
Yeah, I mean, building and traveling and
All kinds of stuff.
yeah.
I had actually snuck out fishing Friday night.
Oh, how'd you do?
I did pretty well. Yep. Did the fall fishing is in full swing. They're still just hammering. So I was actually
Well, that's good.
pitching jigs and
Oh,
with a swim paddle tail swim bait on there. Just murders everything. And
were
I
you
got
catching some?
I had my limit in 6 or 7 casts. I missed one fish.
I thought you were gonna say like 6 or 7 hours, and you're like, nope, 6 or 7 casts.
About 10 minutes.
Walleyes?
Yeah.
Did you catch any other species?
Caught a northern.
Nice, big
And then,
one or just
and then
a
I caught
little
a
shark?
good sized one. And then I caught about 6 more walleyes. And then I decided to go home. I didn't want anybody to see me catching fish.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
hmm So
It's hard about fishing from shore. You don't want anybody to see you catching fish.
yep. It was a new spot I tried actually. A little bit different than where I normally fish.
Well, there you go.
Spots, so it looked good. I tried it out. Yeah, it was literally one after
6 or 7 casts.
hmm
That's crazy.
Yep.
Well, I want to talk about just I don't think people understand how difficult bow hunting and successfully bow hunting whitetails are, especially a large
hmm
antlered mature whitetail buck.
Yeah.
I don't like, people say, well, hunting, I shot a 160, I shot a 170, yeah, with your 300 short mag from 500 yards away in your heated stand.
Well,
I
and even a
hunted
one.
my whole life in a heated stand. It's great. It's lovely. I watch movies. I bring snacks. I've had my mom, when I was younger, drive me out chilly in my deer stand on the four wheeler. I've lived the life. I'm not saying it's bad, not saying it's hard, but
Not anymore. You haven't.
if you think that it's equivalent to bow hunting a whitetail, you're just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's bow hunting's hard. Bow hunting sucks.
There's
Actually,
just like so many things that go into it.
well, there's so many things that can go wrong.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know.
I mean, to get a deer, the dream is to have a deer 30 yards and in. I'm comfortable shooting a deer out to 50.
Yeah, even if you get them 30 yards and in, still things can go wrong.
Still things can go wrong. I mean, I don't think people understand it. I think there's a lot of people that consider themselves outdoorsmen and hunters and all these things, and yet
Well, they duck hunt.
they duck hunt and they rifle hunt the rifle season for a week, and they call themselves hunters, and which maybe they are hunters. Now, who am I to judge? But at the same time,
We're not going to fight other hunters, but these
it
people
is
that
so difficult to kill.
I'm going duck hunting. I'm like, oh, that's good for you. That's one less person out in the bow woods that I don't need.
Yeah, we were talking about that our hunting trip, and we'll get into the hunting trip and details and stuff. And I duck hunting. I just don't get it.
It's fun.
I mean, it's fun to go shoot some birds, and it's fun to hang out with your hunting party and have a good time. But
You coy and you call them, and people like it, and it's a very good entry level outdoor hunting activity. Doesn't take
yeah,
a lot of money to duck hunt. A couple
I
boxes of
just
shells, a couple decoys, duck call.
I just don't think that it seems to be on social media, and maybe it's my generation ruining it. But a lot of people are having this kind of superiority complex when it comes to being a waterfowl hunter. And I feel like you don't see that from the bow hunting community, is why I'm bringing this up, is that people who, the real bow hunters, and you'll see them at 3D shoots, are these old guys with the Matthew switchback or an old compound they've had for 10 plus years. Those are the guys that
My
shoot.
neighbor with the old switchback and has shot so many bull elk with his bow that he doesn't even like to shoot bulls anymore because he doesn't know what to do with all the rats and the antlers. So he just shoots cows now.
Yeah, he just shoots a cow and just whatever. It doesn't even phase him. Those are the guys that are the true badasses of the world, of the hunting community.
The real OGs.
Yeah.
And most bow hunters are solitary too. Like they don't want to tell people where they're hunting, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Covert. We ran covert for years. People have no idea how many deer we've actually shot or
Oh
haven't
my
shot.
gosh.
They have no clue. They see a
Well,
few
and
that we post, but usually,
we only
like,
post the big ones.
yeah, and if we do post a big one, it's like 6 years old. It's not even.
Yeah.
It's not the recent big ones.
No, we haven't. And it's. I just feel like I don't know. I see it a lot in my generation. I'm 25 years old. For people who don't know, people go out and they shoot a limited ducks or geese or whatever have you, and they're just like lay them out over their spread. They're like, "Look at this. This is the best thing in the world. My spread is better than your spread, and you can't call it."
You don't have Sitka camo, and it's
Yeah,
like the frat boys have taken over duck
yeah.
hunting.
And it's just really, it's interesting to see
Boy,
how crazy they are and the superiority complex they have.
yeah, it's fine.
It's like frat guys in intramural sports in college where they think that because they were on their varsity basketball team that they can go run 5-on-5 against anybody in the world. Like,
Yeah,
you came to college for a business degree. You're not a hooper.
they're very. But you know what? I have dear friends that duck hunt, and they love
Yeah,
waterfowling, and
that's
you.
great.
It's great for them. They can.
We're not saying that. We're
And
saying that,
you can spend as much money as you want on waterfowl hunting, and mojo ducks, all that. But we're just talking about the certain caliber of bro dude that, yeah, duck hunting is so awesome, and look at me and my puka shell necklace. I'm just the
yeah,
man. I got no
my Sitka underwear.
I got no pictures and nothing. I just like to talk really loud so everybody can hear me.
You know,
No thanks, bro.
they're the guys with those trucks that have the lift in the front and they're like tilted. I don't know what those are called, but they're those guys, and
Big
they're the
muffler.
ones that black out the tail lights and big mufflers. It looks like trash cans sticking off the back of your truck, and
Got the flatty brim.
rolling coal to the duck blind.
Yeah,
And it puts a bad name on waterfowl hunting. It really does.
yeah. It's definitely the younger generation because the old guys aren't that way. They're just more, they're more nostalgic, and it's more about the
The old
bird.
guys are out there with their Stanley that's 90 years old and more coffee stained than anything you could brew some, but just pouring some hot water in there, and
More
they're
about
out there slaying. They could call a duck in from 3 miles away.
getting the different species and whatnot. And I
Yeah,
know there's something about it.
but I don't get it. And just but I
The
honor
younger, obnoxious, loudmouth, poser, wannabe people. No thanks.
putting a bad name on all hunters out there.
Yeah,
But anyways,
be
I would
cool.
like to
Okay,
say something.
back up. I'm not done.
Okay.
Okay. It's called act like you've been there before, right? Be cool, be courteous, be respectful of everybody. And it's just very clear that, and I'm glad they think they're the man, but you know what? Be humble.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that need to be humble and kind.
Sit down, be humble.
But I will say one thing. While we were deer hunting at deer camp, it was a pheasant opener, so I'm, as a North Dakota resident, bought a pheasant tag. I did not shoot a pheasant.
Present license, you don't have to take.
Pheasant. Oh, that's true. Whatever.
Field dress them, put the little on her tag.
Anyways, I did not get one. However, I was by myself, no dog, and that is one thing that is very hard to do, is to go chase pheasants
Hard to get them to
solo.
flush without a dog.
Solo and no dog. That's if you're successful doing that, props to you. I tried it. I grew up in northern Minnesota in the woods where I didn't do a lot of pheasant hunting. Grouse hunting is very different than pheasant hunting, I learned. Grouse hunting, I did it successfully as a little kid with my 410, and I'd walk the trails in my woods that my dad, cut for me, and I'd go shoot 2 grouse a day after school or before school, whatever, and they just, grouse, they try and hide more and they don't really run or move.
But they can flush and they fly fast. Like you
Oh
can't even
yeah.
see them. They're so fast.
Oh yeah, very true.
A lot of times they'll jump up in a tree or they'll just sit on the ground.
Yeah.
And yes, that's not very sportsman, but are you a sportsman or are you a meat hunter? Two different things there.
Yeah. And that's one thing. I think like grouse and pheasant, you make those into some like chicken strips. You fry them just like chicken. Very tasty.
Yeah, we went out. Zeddy and I went out pheasant hunting Saturday morning. We shot 2 birds,
What you did.
shot 2 pheasants. And then she was tired, so I was like, well, she's not quite in bird hunting shape, so we went back home.
Did she retrieve them? I know she's in training.
No, in her defense, I shot the one too far away and it kind of got up and flew back behind us, and I almost wasn't going to shoot, and then I shot and then I dropped it, so she didn't see it go down. And then the other one, kind of the same deal. I didn't, kind of got up, I shot it, it didn't go down. I shot it again and shot it again. And I was like, some things are so tough. This one had cast iron underwear on. I swear at his presence. I could just hammer in that thing, and then finally it's like spiraled down, like it, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
finally it was heart shot and it landed out in the field. So that one was easy to just walked up and got that one. So she's still learning.
she's a young dog.
She's
Takes
starting
time.
to. She flushed a few hens that she watched them as they flew. That if had they been roosters, had been perfect because I could have shot them and she'd seen them fall. But she's only 3, so I'm hoping that it clicks this year. It's usually about 3 or 4 when it clicks, and
Yeah, and you gotta shoot a ton of birds over a dog before they get really good.
do. Yeah, shoot a couple hundred birds over them, and then all of a sudden they figure it out. So
I mean, you had when I was super little, he was old, but Duke, you're probably your best hunting dog so far. I mean,
yeah,
he was how many birds did it take? I mean,
yeah. He seemed to. He was kind of good right out of the chute, but he figured it out. But he was, when he was 3 or 4, he was just an absolute machine.
yeah.
Birds didn't get away. He usually caught birds on his own. There's a couple days there in southern Minnesota where he caught my limit for me. He caught 2 roosters, and I was like, well, I guess I'm done.
Would he kill them or like?
He'd just bring them to me. Yeah. Yep. So they would, they'd try to hide in the grass from him, and
He'd
then
just
he'd
dive
just
in?
grab them, and all of a sudden he comes carrying it to me, and the bird's up looking around, and I'd grab it and
Wring its neck and
throw it in the bag, or some of
you
them
know.
I threw up and tried to shoot. I actually did that one time where I threw it up and I was going to shoot it, and I missed, and it flew away, and he kind of looked at me like, dude, what are you doing? He
Yep.
got to be that way with hens too. He'd be like, it'd fly, and he'd be like, why aren't you shooting that one?
Just confused.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, we were hunting in North Dakota and it was we saw deer, we saw bucks. I did not have any deer get within 60 yards of me because I was hunting with the deer magnet, Jeremy Lindemann himself. I
Yeah.
don't know what kind of voodoo curse someone put on me. Probably some woman I wronged, but I can't. If I'm hunting with him, the deer just like would walk out. And let me put this: the first time we went hunting, I went to the wrong spot because I had miscommunicated, but I found a good spot. Walked 3 times the distance I needed to. But anyways, the deer will. I've seen this before. The wind will be good for me. Everything is good for me. It's perfectly lined up. The deer will come out. They will just kind of like stop. They get this weird like radio dial sense going on in their heads, and they just like turn towards him. I don't know what it is, and they just start walking. And deer walk 2 feet in front of you, and usually they're not the bucks that a lot of does and small bucks. But and I've killed like 4 deer by myself solo that you weren't in a stand next to me or with me, and I don't know what that is. If I stink or something. But deer are just attracted to you. I don't know if you stink the right kind of stink. I don't know if your BO smells like doe piss or something. But these deer just like, I don't know, it's some weird force thing that they just walk right past you. So I've decided that every time I go hunting, and even when he's old, I'm going to just drag him and set him at the base of my tree so that the deer come right by me so I can shoot them. It's really ridiculous.
Well, if you hunt deer long enough, you're able to read the terrain of like, well, I think they're going to go by here. I think they're going to walk this way, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that. So you just got to put yourself in those places. So that's kind of what it is for me. Is I've hunted deer a long time. I understand how they like to use terrain. How they use the wind, how they. So if you're, like out west where we were hunting, in western North Dakota, they'll use the landscape. If
Oh
you
my
got
gosh.
hills and funnels and, you got a cattail slough and, they're just, and you got a little bit of woods along that cattail slough, I guarantee in between the woods and the cattail slough, there's going to be a trail. And then a lot of it's just putting. I mean, you got to put boots on the ground. You got to hike into these spots. You got to look.
Yeah.
You
I
got
mean,
to.
we hiked in a undisclosed location that was public spot, and everybody probably knows about it. But we kept going further than what it looks like it keeps going, kind of like it looks like it ends. Well, we kept going double the distance back there, and we found some of the biggest rubs I've ever seen in my life.
Buck sign like crazy.
Yeah, little trees ripped out of the ground, split in half, and I think that just a lot of people don't understand. The must be nice people, and you've got that a lot because you've killed some, as you can see behind you, you've killed some very big deer, and a lot of that one's just nuts, and it's a European. I don't think people like it. That deer. I am 6'4", 300 pounds, offensive lineman, Viking build. That deer can fit around my rib cage, and I am not a skinny bitch.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a
When
nice.
you brought that home in the truck, when I you're like, yeah, hold this. I legit put the spread around my ribs. It is nuts, and I don't, but
Yeah,
it's big.
it's insane big.
Yeah,
But
and just typical as typical can get.
yeah. Well, let's talk about like this buck though. So this is a good example of using terrain.
Yeah,
Okay. So Jacob talked about we found rubs. Okay. So that's kind of how I killed this buck. Was there was a draw that was way back in the middle of the section. Had some terrible trees in it. I had to take. I had a ladder stand that I hauled all the way back there, and then I took the bottom section of the ladder stand off, and I had it set it up on this hill that was up on the edge of the ravine up on the hill, and
which is weird because I'll
so like
paint the picture a little bit. You climbed up like 4 feet, but you're like 30 feet above the ground.
right, so like you're 8 feet on this side if you fell out of the stand, and you were like 30 feet if you fell out the other way. But down
Yep.
below there, in the bottom of the ravine, there was like a little creek drainage, and there was trees, and these bucks had scrapes all the way from there. And then
Yep.
this on the top side of the drainage was the ag fields, and then on the bottom side was CRP and pasture and river bottom. So those deer would travel down, and they would, they'd go feed at night out in the crop field, and they would, use this drainage, and they had, there were several drainages, and there was probably 14, 15 different trails. But you get in the month of October when the deer start to start hitting scrapes, ground, and making ground scrapes, getting ready for the rut. This is the pre-rut time. You can really key in on them because they're going to visit those scrapes on their way to and from bedding to see if there's any does that have been by, kind of keep track of what other deer are there. It's just the pre-rut is a good time to hunt scrapes. People think, oh, I should hunt these scrapes during the rut. Well, no, because the deer aren't there during the rut because they're on a doe. They're chasing.
They're everywhere.
They're locked down with a doe. The only thing they may do is they may run the downwind side of those scrapes to see, because they can just run through the woods and they can just smell if anything's been there or not, because that's how good their nose is.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep on moving. So you want to, when it gets to the actual rut, you want to go back to hunting where the does are, which is usually they go to food. But also I've seen during the rut, because all the bucks are harassing the does, that the does go hide in some of the thickest shit they can find. And that's why you'll see these bucks start bulldozing through woods and not even using trails. They're just trying to get these does. But anyway, back to this other deer, like Jacob talked about, we had to put boots on the ground. We had to do scouting. This was the perfect setup because I needed if I had a southeast wind, blowing towards me from the crop field to me, and then as the morning thermals rose, they started sinking down that hill. So with the wind and the thermals, it sucked my scent away. So the deer could never smell me there if the wind was right. Now you're playing a game with thermals, because as that sun's going up and your thermals are sinking, all your smell is going to go down that valley. Obviously, if there was a deer coming from that way, that's why I couldn't hunt it in the evening, because the deer were coming from that way. And then kind of the same thing as the sun starts to, as the day heats up. I got that reversed. Let me back up. So in the morning, and it's still cool, your thermals are sinking. As the sun comes up, they start to rise. Well, that's why I needed that wind from the southeast to kind of counteract the thermal. So you could hunt there for a while till it got too warm, and then the thermal overpowered the wind. So, but that is also why I couldn't hunt there, in the evening. I needed that, the deer would always pick you out because as that started to get cool, the thermal would sink and go down that valley, so nothing would come up that valley because they'd smell you. And wind couldn't seem to overpower that in the evening.
No.
So we tried that several times, but
Got busted several times.
so I needed the perfect direction of wind, and I needed the thermals to hang in there, and I needed the deer to come by between 7 a.m., which is legal shooting, and about 9 a.m. I needed him to come by, and then I had about an hour and a half to hunt there, or the spot wasn't going to work. The thermals would have gave me away. So this is like Jacob's talking about why bow hunting is so hard, because you need all these little things to come together for you to get a deer.
Within bow range.
In bow range. And then if you do get a deer in bow range, that's one thing, but then you need the right deer in bow range.
Yeah.
I had some little bucks that I could have shot, but they were tiny and spindly, and they just needed to grow up. And then when the big buck in, he doesn't want to. They don't do it. They do whatever the heck they want. They don't. They don't follow the script. They don't. There's no script. They just do whatever they want to do.
And how many just huge monster bucks have we had where they stop behind a pine tree or a tree where they know they're kind of safe and they can look?
They got a sixth sense.
They're
very cautious. They move slow. They assess everything. They're like, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to proceed slowly here.
I mean, unless you get one heat or rut or they're dumb, a big mature buck is one of the smartest animals in the forest. They move. They don't move on normal trails. They don't. It's something else. They're a different beast.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't follow scripts. They don't do what the does do. They don't pop out in the field out of nowhere and look around. They sit on the edge and they scan and they look. And I mean, I've had two just huge bucks at like 12 yards, and they're just behind a tree, and because they could sense something was wrong, and they would both just backed up.
And all this depends on and little things happen. It seems like I had a pretty nice buck come in, and I was about to shoot, and just at that time is when the wind decided to switch around out of the wind started to swirl and switch switching from the northwest to the southeast, and I was like, it wasn't according to the weather app, it wasn't supposed to do that till like
that's
2
another
hours
thing.
Later.
Like the wind goes, and a good example is this we experienced at deer camp. When you're sitting at a campfire, watch the smoke. Because every, 45 minutes, the wind's one way, all of a sudden I'll go, hit you in the face with the smoke.
Yeah. So this is what...
out of nowhere.
Like, Mark Drury talked about this on a podcast last week I was listening to. Was Wired to Hunt, Mark Kenyon. I think if we send him a message, he'll come on our podcast. Maybe both of them, you never know. But they were talking about how you got to scout out these spots. So you have to learn how the wind flows through your area.
Yep.
On different, okay, what does it do on a west wind? What does it do on a north wind? You need a high pressure system sometimes to hunt areas because that keeps your scent from getting to the ground. Everything just rises up. There's all these things you got to take into consideration. And then it's, something like, oh, the deer went left instead of right like I needed him to, and then there was a branch in the way and I couldn't shoot. You'll do everything right. That's why bow hunting is so rewarding, is because there's all these little intricate things that come into play. And at the same time, you can just walk out there and be a moron and sit down on a log and one will walk by you and you shoot it. Happens all the time.
Yeah, very true.
We do all this extra work and scouting and technical and gear and blah, blah, blah. And, Uncle Ron will go out there with a cigarette and a 30-06, sit down on a log, and, 150-inch buck walks up to him and he shoots it. This is how it goes.
That's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah, no, it's, and I've killed a few really nice bucks with my rifle. But one of my favorite bucks I've ever killed is this little 8-pointer with my bow, because I've killed more does with my bow, and I remember those way more than I remember the rifle hunts.
Yeah.
It's just there's something about it when you put all in the hard work and you gotta get them close. You gotta be quiet. You gotta have different stuff, and it's just something else. And
Hmm.
don't get me wrong. When November, second, third week in November rolls around, I put down my bow and I pick up my 30-06 and I go out in the woods and I get my deer if I need to. I'm not stupid, but it's something different and it's something hard, and you can't. It's even hard to explain unless you experience it, and it's just especially on public land. And we've kind of experienced that, because the last couple of years we've moved and sold. We had a lot of land before, and now we have no land. So we're kind of back to the basics, and it's definitely harder. But, private land, you can do food plots and all these things and prep, and you can build stands and
Yeah, you're farming deer at that point, or trying to make
yeah,
the place the most desirable for them to be at.
yeah.
And we were pretty good at that. Like we were talking, we had a 10-acre piece, the first piece we ever owned.
That was probably one of our best pieces.
That we lived there. We
Yeah,
lived in that one, and
and
we had
you
yeah.
lived in a 10 acre, and we had a big yard, so we weren't
No, we had probably had a 5-acre yard, and we had a little half-acre food plot. It was almost
about the size of a basketball court.
yeah, 3/4 of an acre maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe a football field if you stretched it all out because it kind of had some turns
yeah,
and
had a
stuff.
little bend to it, but
But that thing was lights out.
yeah, and we started out, and and people are always like, must be nice to have all this whatever stuff, and well, I remember we were mowing it with this old
Our riding lawnmower.
a riding lawnmower, and I had a little 80 dirt bike and our little three wheeler, and we would make a drag, and we would disc. We didn't have discs, we didn't have anything. We made a drag, and
Yep.
we'd dig up the dirt, and we'd hand cast all the seeds out, and we'd rakes with garden rakes, and scrape it in, and
Yeah, you don't.
we built a stand out there, and shout out to mom. She killed a big 9 punter out there. She killed a bunch of deer out there because you could, it was a 50-second walk, 2-minute walk to the stand we built. I mean,
Mhm.
we had a rotation of crops that deer were coming there from opening weekend to January 1st, and we'd kill a ton of deer out of there. And it was, and I remember telling my wife this story that one of my favorite memories was one night when I was uh, not old enough to drive. I think I was like 14 or something. We had these walkie talkies, and this is before really like cell phones. I had like a flip phone or something, but it didn't work back there. So I'd leave a walkie talkie on the kitchen counter after I got off the bus, and I'd take the other one with me, and I'd go back to the stand, and I know my dad was home from work, and he'd be like, "You want me to come out there with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's no deer." And he'd walk the back trail and come sit with me, and I shot a doe that one night and with my bow, and it's a lot, it's a lot of fun growing up on that stuff, and you don't need a ton of land to get it done. We got it done very successfully for a long time with 10, 11 acres, and
Mhm.
now we're back to public land hunting, and it's some of the hardest stuff, but
Well, and we were still public land hunting too
yeah, we
when
did. I
we got our
mean,
stuff. I mean, we had
our mom kind of kicked us out of our stand we built.
yeah. So
Did all
we
this hard work, and she was like, "Yep, thanks for the stand and food plot, boys. Go have fun in the public land."
hunted public land. We've hunted several states for many years here. Just try to
Well,
keep just try to keep it going as long as we can and bow hunt as much as we can. Fall's so short, so I mean it's nice to get out there and just do what you can. And hopefully you get some deer. I think I have uh, bow tags for 3 states, and I think I'm mental for doing that to myself right now. But I'm trying to figure out
yeah.
where to go this weekend, and what to do, and it's a lot of work.
Oh
So
my gosh, I almost live on the Weather Channel app and on X, and just looking where the wind's gonna be on what day and what the temperature is gonna be like, and and that's what kind of happened on our North Dakota deer camp trip was we got hosed by weather and the moon, and it got warm on us, and it got windy, and then it
rainy,
rained, and then it rained like a son of a gun.
rainy again, and then yeah, we had just about the worst kind of weather you could have for bow hunting.
But we put some definitely boots on the ground. We have some spots, and I think definitely need to go back there during the rut. I think there'd be There's enough deer out there that be moving and cruising that you could get one.
Yep, for
But
sure.
oh my gosh, yeah, no, it's nuts. And I do have an announcement here since we're getting to the end. We have hit 100 subscribers
We did.
as of this morning
Holy smokes.
on YouTube, which to the mass majority, 100 subscribers on YouTube is nothing. Mr. Beast has got 4.5 billion, whatever.
Share a couple mil with us.
But we did promise that we would be doing a little walleye
Yep.
tackle box giveaway. So we'll figure out how to do this, but I'll be reaching out. I have the generated subscriber. I'm not going to shout it out now just in case they don't want it, but I'm going to be reaching out to them, and Jeremy will get you a little piece set together of his favorites walleye rigs, and we'll throw a couple ice fishing ones in there since it's getting a little colder finally, and we'll get that sent out to you. So we're going to do another one at 1,000, and we'll do something special. We don't know yet, but we're going to do at 1,000 subscribers, we'll do another giveaway. So if you're listening to this, and I'll make this a short, subscribe. I got more hunting content on the way. I'm editing it right now. The North Dakota Deer Camp episode. We're going to be hunting some deer, hopefully successfully getting some deer. And it's getting colder, so soon we'll be ice fishing.
Yeah.
So it's we're trying to do something fun here, keep it real, keep it light for you guys, and and share our knowledge with the world and take you along with the journey. So subscribe to us, two knuckleheads, and enjoy the show.
That's right.
Well, I think we're going to close this episode up. We got some deer hunting to do, some deer hunting planning to do.
Dyslexia. Damn.
Dyslexia. It's fun. Try it out. I wouldn't recommend it. Anyways, thank you for watching. God bless you.
Wait, I wasn't done.
Well, fine. What do you
We each have dyslexia, but our dyslexia is 180 degrees off of each other's. They don't even sync up.
Yep, they don't sync up.
So it's super fun.
You going that way? Yep. Okay, see ya. But anyways, God bless America. God bless you. And 100 subscribers, thank you. Cheers. We'll see you at the next, goal of ours, which is 1,000. And we're going to keep on hunting. Go out there, fill the freezer. Let us know what you want to see more of. You want to see us show us what gear we use. Comment down below what you want to see. You want us to just see us walking through the woods. We got plenty of stock footage of that.
Hunting public style.
They don't do that. I keep watching them. They're good.
I do too.
I subscribe. I watch them. I watch every video they post. They love to walk through the woods and scout and show deer that they're not shooting. But, man, they get it done. Those boys are hard workers. But we're going to end this one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. We'll make it worth your while. Share, tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad.
2 million bots. We don't care.
Doesn't matter. Tell ChatGPT to give us a like and subscribe. But thank you. Peace out, everybody.